The hospital lights were dim. The monitors beeped slowly. And a silence so heavy, so unnatural, fell across the room. You could hear hearts breaking in that moment. Every feud, every outburst, every viral moment, none of it mattered anymore because King Harris, the fiery and defiant son of T.I. and Tiny, once known for explosive Instagram lives and public clashes, now lay on a hospital bed, silent still, and surrounded by family. T.I.'s hands trembled as he held his son's wrist. Tiny refused to leave his side. Zanique wept quietly in the corner. And just outside the door, the rest of the Harris family stood frozen, waiting on the doctor's final report, the one that would either end the nightmare or change the Harris family forever. What happened to King? What pushed him to the brink? And why is no one talking about what was in the sealed medical file marked confidential, do not release? Because if the whispers are true, this wasn't an accident. This was the breaking point, and the moment the doctor opened that folder, everything changed. King Harris was always a storm, not a quiet breeze, not a slow burn. A storm from the moment he stepped into the public eye, cameras rolling, Instagram blazing, headlines popping, he was Energy UN, Cohen, to the son of T.I., Ined, the son of T.I., the self-declared king of the South, and Tiny, the soulful matriarch of a musical empire. King Harris never had a normal childhood. He was born into cameras, raised in chaos, fed by fame, and left to figure out what it meant to be king and that name. It wasn't just a title. It was a weight. The early signs from his earliest teen years, fans could see it. The flashes of anger, the need to be heard, the moments where his face would shift from playful to pained in a heartbeat. He was the wild one, the unfiltered one, the one who always seemed like he was either about to laugh or explode, and behind every outburst was pain. You remember the viral moment? King confronting a restaurant employee, threatening to get active because he felt disrespected. That wasn't just a temper tantrum. That was a cry for identity. A boy born into royalty, fighting to feel seen outside of his last name. The family tension, but behind the scenes. The Harris household wasn't as unified as Instagram made it look. Multiple insiders, friends, distant relatives, and even former staff have said for years that King felt left behind. He always said he wasn't the favorite, one source whispered. He felt like a performer in his own home, said another. Like the only way he got attention was if he was making noise. So he made a lot of it. The comparisons to T, constant. The expectations to behave like Tiny's little man. Crushing the pressure to represent OG Atlanta rap royalty while being just a kid trying to find himself. Suffocating. Social media chaos. King's battles with fans weren't just petty beefs. They were flare-ups of something much deeper. He was live one day, in the studio the next, arguing with trolls in one moment, crying in the next. Wearing a crown on Instagram, but cracking underneath it offline. Remember that one IG live where he screamed, "Y'all don't even know me. You know my name, but not my soul." Fans laughed. Memes were made. But those who knew him said that was the realest thing he ever said. The shocking feud with T.I. The moment that fans say marked the beginning of the end, was when King publicly clashed with his own father. It was raw, ugly, and completely heartbreaking. A viral Thanksgiving moment, what was supposed to be a family dinner turned into a shouting match. Caught on camera, King stood up, veins bulging, yelling, "You ain't been my daddy, bro. You been T.I. to me, not no damn father." The room fell silent. Tiny cried. T.I. stormed out. That wasn't for clicks. That wasn't for show. That was generational trauma exploding on camera. Descent into silence after that. King got quiet. Too quiet. Twitty, his social media posts slowed down. The brash tone turned soft. He started posting old pictures, as if he was grieving himself while still alive. One tweet in particular broke fans. "Sometimes I feel like I wasn't meant to be here. like God made a mistake. Coo. No music dropped. No appearances. Just absence. And when fans asked, "Where's King?" the family said nothing, but behind closed doors, the family was already preparing for the worst. Hospitalization rumors weeks before the current hospitalization. Rumors began swirling. King was taken to the ER after a breakdown. Family is under a gag order from PR. Tani's been crying nonstop. She knew something was coming. One insider said King's health wasn't just physical. His mental state had been spiraling for months. The pressure, the loneliness, the anger, it all caved in. But no one expected this. A medical emergency, a code red, and a sealed doctor's report that even the family wasn't allowed to see at first thought until today. Today's tragedy, what led to the ER visit, is still officially undisclosed. But multiple sources claim King was found unresponsive in his room by a close friend. A 911 call was placed at 2:37 a.m. He had irregular breathing, no verbal response, and rapid eye movement. When the ambulance arrived, the EMTs reportedly whispered, "We need to move. This could go either way." The final report as of now. Doctors have King in critical but stabilized condition. But the real shock isn't just his vitals. It's what was found in his psychological evaluation file, marked confidential, do not release. The report is said to contain a letter written by King himself, titled "If I Don't Wake Up." Audio recordings from a private journal app describing his loss of self. A list of names of people he wanted to hear from before it was too late. And the person at the top of that list, T.I. The Harris family had weathered scandals, headlines, and betrayals, but nothing like this. Not a staged argument. Not a messy Instagram live. This was life or death. And for the first time, every camera was turned inward. The night it all collapsed, Tiny had been pacing the hospital corridor for hours. T.I. sat slumped in a chair, head in his hands, muttering prayers under his breath. Zonique's phone buzzed every few seconds with messages from friends, bloggers, and family members asking for updates. No one answered. Then a nurse stepped into the hallway and whispered, "They've unsealed a file. The family can come in now." Tiny clutched T.I.'s arm so hard he flinched. She didn't care. This was the moment. Inside the room, King lay motionless, hooked up to monitors. His once fiery eyes were closed, lips cracked, hands trembling faintly. In the corner sat a brown envelope stamped "Confidential Audio" written. The doctor spoke softly. "These were in your son's possession. He wanted them played if something happened. We've done what we can medically. But emotionally, you need to hear this." T.I.'s jaw clenched. Tiny's eyes filled with tears. Zonique gripped the chair as the nurse pressed play. King's voice fills the room. It started as a whisper, cracking, like a boy hiding under a blanket. "If you're hearing this, I guess I went too far. I ain't mad at nobody. I'm just tired. Tired of being the wild one. Tired of being compared. Tired of trying to prove I'm more than a name." Teeny gasped. Zonique covered her mouth. T.I. shut his eyes. King continued, "Dad, you always told me to be a king. But you never told me how to be your son, Mom. You always tried to protect me, but you couldn't protect me from the cameras. I've been screaming this whole time and nobody heard me." Tiny broke down, sobbing. I reached for the envelope with shaking hands. Inside, along with the audio, was a handwritten note. "The people in this list know what I've been through. They know why I'm here. Ask them." The list had 3 names. 2 were family friends. The third was a shock. Uncle Dion. Who is Uncle Dion? In the Harris inner circle, Uncle Dion is a familiar but little-spoken name, a longtime associate of T.I., a man who'd been part of the family's business dealings since before King was born. According to old interviews, Dion acted like a big brother to T.I. in his early days, but had faded from the public eye around 2018. What wasn't public? Dion had been handling security and management duties for King since his late teens. Insiders claim Dion often disciplined King when he acted out, pulling him out of clubs, teaching him lessons away from cameras. But no one knew what those lessons really meant. The first twist. King's final text as T. I stared at the list. Zonique's phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a blogger or a friend, it was a scheduled message. One King had set to send hours after his collapse. It read, "They gone, blame me. Don't let them. Ask Dion about Project Royal. He knows. Protect Mom." Zonique's face went pale. She handed the phone to Tiny, who whispered, "Project Royal." T.I.'s head snapped up. He knew that name. What is Project Royal? According to a former Grand Hustle employee who later spoke anonymously to a gossip site, Project Royal was an informal nickname for a plan T.I. and Dion allegedly developed to transition King into the music business by any means necessary, controlling his image, his shows, even his relationships. The employee said they called it Project Royal because they wanted King to live up to the Harris name. But the pressure, it was like military boot camp for fame. If true, King had been subjected to a secret training regimen far beyond what fans saw online. Constant rehearsals, restricted movement, and mandatory publicity lessons designed to harden him for celebrity life. And according to King's text, Dion had more answers than anyone. The family reacts. Dini turned to T.I., tears streaming. "You knew about this?" T.I.'s eyes flickered with something, guilt, rage, regret. "It wasn't like that. We was trying to make sure he had the tools." Zonique cut him off. "You didn't give him tools. You gave him chains." The doctor cleared his throat gently. "We need to focus on King right now. But if there's more to this story, the sooner it comes out, the better for his treatment." Tiny stared at the note again. Dion's name stared back. Outside the room while the family reeled inside. The hallway outside was swarming with paparazzi. Word had leaked that King was in critical condition. Twitter blew up with hashtags. Hashtag Pray for King Harris. Hashtag Project Royal. What did Dion do? Clips from King's past lives resurfaced. Fans now seeing them not as antics, but cries for help. One viral post read, "Y'all called him spoiled." Turns out he was suffocating. The cliffhanger of the section, just as the doctor left, T.I.'s phone buzzed. An unknown number. A text. "Don't go public." He's not the only one with recordings. T froze, showed Tiny. No name attached. No reply option. Just that chilling message. Who sent it? Dion, another insider. Someone trying to keep the truth buried. Tiny whispered, "If King makes it through this, we need to tell everything. All of it." And T.I., for once in his life, had nothing to say that the Harris family thought they'd heard the worst. They hadn't, because King's handwritten letter, the mysterious list, and the cryptic text about Project Royal were just the beginning. Now the real unraveling began, and it started with Uncle Dion. The call, no one. Wanted to make tea? I paced the hospital hallway like a caged animal, gripping his phone so tightly his knuckles turned white. Tiny stood in front of him, arms crossed. Her voice sharp. "Call him now, before the press does." T.I. hesitated, then dialed. The line rang once, twice, then click tip. "You know, I told you this would come back to bite us." 'Twas dion.cole.com/unbothered. "Where the hell are you?" T.I. barked. "Where I always am when y'all panic, cleaning up what you left behind." Tiny grabbed the phone and screamed, "Did you do something to our son?" Silence. Then Dion spoke, slow and calculated. "I didn't do anything, Tiny. You did. You both did when you pushed him into a life he never wanted." He hung up. Project Royal, what the files revealed. Next blow came from a burner account on Reddit, an anonymous leak that had screenshots, video clips, and internal schedules all labeled Project Royal. And what fans saw was horrifying. A weekly calendar that showed King's days booked from 5 a.m. to midnight, with publicity training, conflict response drills, and controlled confrontation sessions. A file marked media readiness level. King Harris graded his outbursts, tweets, and IG Lives with notes like, emotional projection equals effective and escalation increases engagement. One leaked video showed a hidden camera recording of King in a warehouse-like room being yelled at by Dion. "You ain't here to cry, boy. You here to lead. Now square up and look me in the eyes." Fans were stunned. This wasn't guidance. This was conditioning. A heartbreaking clip from King's phone thin. Came the footage that broke the internet. A 3-minute selfie video pulled from King's iCloud apparently recorded the night before he collapsed. He sat in his room, lights off, hoodie up, eyes swollen, voice shaky. "Y'all think I'm just acting up. I'm not. I'm trying to breathe through this mess they wrapped around me. I don't know who I am anymore. I got love for my family, but they don't see me. They see a brand. They see a storyline. Okay." Then he held up a flash drive. "Everything's on this. If I don't make it, make sure this don't get buried." He ended the video staring into the lens, whispering, "I'm not a product. I'm King and I'm tired." Public reactions, a cultural firestorm. Social media went into meltdown. Free King from the machine. Justice for King Harris. Project Royal exposed. TikTok. Creators made reaction videos. Some crying on camera. Twitter threads broke down every training document. From the leaks, Reddit sleuths found connections between Project Royal and old reality show contracts. King never signed, hinting that he'd been manipulated to stay visible against his will. Even celebrities began to speak out. Industry reacts quick. Palmer tweeted, "What they did to King wasn't parenting. That was packaging." Boosie Badazz, in a rare, serious moment, said that boy needed therapy, not boot camp for fame. Charlamagne Tha God addressed it on The Breakfast Club. "Y'all want to talk about family hustle? Let's talk about the trauma hustle. That kid ain't crazy. He's hurt." T.I. breaks down publicly facing mounting pressure. T.I. released a shaky Instagram video, not through PR, but alone in a dark room. "I failed my son. I thought I was preparing him for the world. Turns out I was preparing the world to destroy him. I should have listened. And I'm praying to God I get the chance to say that to his face." Fans praised the raw honesty, but some weren't convinced. Tiny's secret visit. While I was handling PR fallout, Tiny made a secret trip to Dion. A blurry paparazzi photo caught her outside a gated property. Yelling behind closed doors, according to an alleged source, Tiny screamed, "He's a child, Dion. You don't break kids to build them." No one knows what was said inside, but Tiny left 20 minutes later, visibly shaken, clutching a USB drive. Was it the flash drive King showed in his final video? No one can confirm yet. The real twist? King knew the Harris family returned to the hospital, and that night, King stirred, his eyes fluttered open. Monitors beeped. Nurses rushed. T.I. stood frozen, then whispered, "Son, you hear me?" King's response, a single sentence, "Y'all ready to hear it now?" It wasn't a question. It was a warning. He knew what he had. He knew who he'd exposed. And he knew it wasn't over by the next morning. The entire culture was on fire. Every blog, every talk show, every feed was locked on one story. King Harris had woken up, and with his eyes open, a decade of secrets was about to spill out. Social media turns into a prayer vigil. Instagram live streams from outside the hospital showed dozens of fans holding candles, posters, and signs that read, "We hear you, King, and let him speak." Twitter X trended globally with hashtag King Harris speaks, Project Royal, We failed King. People who once mocked his antics were now posting apology videos. One viral TikTok creator said through tears, "We called him spoiled. We called him crazy. We didn't see a child screaming for help." Another post read, "If King had been anyone else's kid, y'all would have protected him." Fame is abuse when it's forced. Celebrities flood the timeline. Famous voices began chiming in, each more dramatic than the last. Kanye West posted a black square with the words, "Industry eats its young." Free King. Snoop Dogg tweeted, "I watched Tip build an empire, but sometimes the empire builds a cage." Keke Palmer went live on Instagram. "The people clowning King owe him an apology. The leaks show a kid being molded like a product." Even Nicki Minaj, who rarely comments on family drama, quote-tweeted a news clip, "Protect this boy at all costs. The industry is demonic." Meanwhile, other artists, mostly those with ties to Dionne, stayed silent. Their silence became its own statement. Media piles on daytime talk shows devoted full episodes to the situation. Good Morning America ran the headline, "Project Royal, the Price of Fame." The Breakfast Club's Charlamagne Tha God said on air, "We can't keep cheering for kids breaking down online and then acting surprised when it goes too far." Rolling Stone published a digital cover. King Harris, the child star who tried to warn us. The Harris family fractures in real time. The hospital, news cameras caught T.I. walking out a side entrance, visibly angry. Reporters shouted questions. He muttered only, "I said what I had to say." Minutes later, Tiny posted a long Instagram story, tear-streaked, thanking fans for prayers but also asking for space while the truth sorts itself out. Sneak tweeted cryptically, "He tried to tell y'all. Nobody listened." Within hours, gossip pages posted unverified claims of heated arguments between T.I. and Tiny. Behind hospital doors about who should handle the flash drive King referenced in his video, Dionne finally speaks. Tian finally speaks. Man at the center of the storm, Uncle Dion, broke his silence via a pre-recorded video uploaded to YouTube. Sitting in a dimly lit room, he spoke directly into the camera. "They're painting me like some monster. I did what Tip asked me to do. Make a man out of a boy. It wasn't abuse. It was preparation. And y'all don't even know the half of what's coming." Then he leaned in, eyes hard. "Project Royal wasn't my idea. It wasn't even Tip's idea. Ask the label. Ask the networks. Ask the ones who made millions off King's pain." He cut the video at that. No proof, no names. Just enough to ignite a new wave of conspiracy. Fans began connecting dots. Twitter threads and Reddit posts blew up with theories. Was Project Royal tied to the family's old VH1 reality show contracts? Did Dionne act alone, or was there a shadowy corporate partner? Was King's collapse triggered by a legal move to silence him before he leaked more? One thread titled "The Real Royal Puppet Masters" gained 200,000 upvotes overnight, claiming executives from a major streaming platform had funded the training program. To turn King into a viral asset, public opinion swings in King's favor. If King had ever been polarizing, that ended now. Polls by entertainment blogs showed 89% of respondents believed King had been exploited or mishandled by adults around him. Even skeptics admitted the leaked schedules and King's own video were hard to dismiss. A tweet with 5 dope likes summed it up. "This ain't about snitching, clout, or a family business anymore. This is about a kid surviving the machine." The industry feels the heat suddenly. Brands began quietly removing old clips of King from advertising. Networks canceled reruns of episodes featuring him. One streaming service reportedly put a pause on a documentary series about celebrity families after fans flooded its comment section with hashtag Project Royal accusations. But a counter-movement emerged too. Let King speak. GoFundMe pages appeared to fund his legal counsel and therapy. Even A-list producers offered to back his first official project when he recovers, a tell-all book, a docuseries, maybe even an album. The cliffhanger of public reaction late that night. A verified journalist tweeted, "I've seen the flash drive. What's on it makes Dionne's video look like a bedtime story. If King goes public, careers will end." Fans flooded King's last Instagram post with, please go live. Please tell us yourself. Don't let them bury the truth." King's account stayed dark. No posts, no stories. No comments, just one new profile bio update. "I'm awake." The Harris family had already been shaken to its core, but the world had no idea how deep the rabbit hole went. Because while T.I. and Stani were still fighting behind hospital doors, and while fans were still posting hashtags from the street outside, the flash drive King clutched in his last video finally made its way into the light. And what it contained didn't just put Dion in the crosshairs. It pointed to something far larger and far darker than anyone had imagined. The flash drive surfaces it began with a DM to a prominent Atlanta journalist. No name, no return address. Just a package with a sticky note. He wanted the world to know. Do it before they erase it. Inside was a USB drive marked in black Sharpie. King Final. The journalist hesitated, then plugged it into a secure laptop. What appeared on the screen was a folder of audio files, text documents, and videos all time-stamped over the last 2 years at the center of it. A document titled Project Royal Master Plan.pdf. Project Royal exposed the PDF was not just a training schedule. It was a full-blown operational blueprint. It detailed payment schedules to a shell company owned by a major entertainment network, a behavior-shaping contract signed by a third-party talent management firm, not Dion. Engagement metrics, showing spikes in social media interactions every time King had a public outburst. And most explosive of all, a list of names under a section labeled Key Stakeholders. At the top, Dion Security Consultant, 2 senior executives from the network that aired, Family Hustle, a publicist linked to several high-profile child stars, and at the very bottom, under Advisor Consultant, one name nobody expected, T.I. Harris. The family confrontation when the leak hit social media. The Harris hospital room erupted. Tiny stared at T.I. "You told me this was just for his own good." T.I.'s voice cracked. "It wasn't supposed to go this far. They promised me it was safe. I was trying to give him a future." Zonique stepped in, tears in her eyes. "You gave them my brother. You signed him away." Ben from the hospital bed, weak but conscious. King whispered, "I tried to tell y'all." Those 4 words sent shivers through everyone in the room. Dion's live stream, meanwhile. Dion went live on Instagram from an undisclosed location. His face was shadowed, his tone venomous. "They're making me the villain. I'm not the villain. I was the handler. I was doing what I was told. Ask the network. Ask the label. Ask the man who signed the papers, Tip himself." He leaned closer. "And if anything happens to me, there's another drive, bigger than King's." Then he ended the stream. The internet goes wild. Project Royal trended #1 worldwide. Fans flooded T.I.'s comments with demands. Tell the truth. Release the contracts. Let King speak. Others turned their anger on the network executives. Named in the PDF, petitions began circulating to shut down child exploitation pipelines in entertainment. Meanwhile, journalists scrambled to verify the authenticity of the files. A mystery emails. This storm raged. An email landed in the inbox of the same journalist who leaked the drive. Subject line, "You're not even close." The body contained just 1 line. King was the pilot program. There are 7 more. No signature. No reply possible. The implication? This wasn't just about one family. This was an industry-wide operation, and King Harris was just the tip of the iceberg. The cliffhanger that night? As the hospital quieted and the city outside pulsed with speculation, King posted a single story to his Instagram, a photo of his hand with an IV, holding up a piece of paper. On it scrawled in black marker, "I'm not done." No caption. No sound. No face. Just that message. Within an hour, it had 12 million views. The comments were full of pleas, "Stay strong, King. Tell us everything. Bring them down." And then his account went dark. Toasts wiped. Stories gone. Profile picture removed. Just 1 word left in his bio, "Waiting." 'Cause King Harris hadn't given his final goodbye. He'd given his first warning, and whatever comes next could burn an entire industry to the ground. You've just heard the most heartbreaking, shocking, and industry-shattering story of the decade. This wasn't a meltdown on Instagram. This wasn't a petty celebrity feud. This was a young man fighting for his life while the people around him, parents, handlers, networks, turned him into a product. King Harris didn't just survive. He woke up. He held the receipts. And he told the world, without saying a word, "I'm not done." Now the question is, what will you do with it? Because the flash drive, the contracts, the names at the bottom of that PDF, those were just the first crack in the mask. If the whispers are true, there are 7 more programs, 7 more projects, built to mold children into viral assets, and King was only the pilot. So we're asking you, do you believe King Harris is finally ready to blow the lid off Project Royal? Was T.I. a father caught in a trap or a co-signer of the system that broke his son? And if King speaks, really speaks, will the industry survive what he reveals? Drop your theories in the comments. Let the world know where you stand. Was this just bad parenting? Or a full-blown entertainment conspiracy? Like this video if you've been following King's story from the start. Subscribe now because part 2 of this saga will not only cover what's on the rest of the flash drive, it may show how deep this machine runs. Share this with someone who still thinks child fame is harmless, because what's coming next? It's not just King's story. It's a reckoning. And when he finally speaks, everything changes. Everything changes.